This is Roblox. You don't want to see me infuriated. And it's a rage game that's known for making people rage a lot. By the way, the end is crazy, so keep watching if you want to see what happens. Once I joined the game, we have to cross this bridge, which is definitely broken. On the first try, I failed. But after a few attempts, I finally beat it and moved on. Then, I had to complete this quiz. But this quiz was super easy because you could just click a box to see the answer. After that, I got to the next stage easily. But on this stage, you explode once you touch the walls. On the first time, I didn't know it, so I oofed. But after that, I finally beat it. But the next stage will become a living hell for me. There were literally falling fruits that were very hard to pass. Once I jumped on the checkpoint, I was immediately headshotted by a lot of fruits. And for some reason, Freddy Fazbear was there too. I even tried to ask for help in the chat, but I was luckily able to pass it on my own. But this next stage may look easy, but it'll be very hard. Once I started the obby, a Game Pass shop appeared, and I was only able to leave it for a split second. This meant I had to complete this obby completely blindfolded. I tried resetting myself, but that didn't work. Fortunately, I learned a trick to beat the stage from Otter on Roblox. When you full screen, there's a tiny gap that you're able to see on the bottom of the screen. This helps you navigate where the safe places are and where the kill bricks are. However, I was finally able to beat it after what felt like hell. When I was walking to the next stage, I needed to complete a CAPTCHA that I didn't even understand. So, I resetted my character to try a different CAPTCHA. This CAPTCHA requires you to get this key by spinning the spinning wheel. So after a few spins, I finally got the key. Then, I had to get the key 3 more times. But I resetted myself to more times, and this time I got a different CAPTCHA. It requires me to click all the pictures with Markiplier in it. Once I finished, I had to find the pineapple, which was gonna be a little bit hard. It was going to be mixed up, and I had to choose the correct one. After it got mixed, I started searching for the pineapple. But after that, I finally found the pineapple and went to the last CAPTCHA. I had to find Markiplier again, but the problem was that there were no Markipliers in the pictures. However, I figured out that I had to skip the CAPTCHA. But when I walked to the checkpoint, the final CAPTCHA came requiring me to spin the wheel for the key again. Finally, I got the key and got to the next stage. In this stage, you had to choose the correct segment to pass. The first 2 were very easy, however, the last one was super hard. So after exploding a lot, I finally figured out the correct way and got to the next checkpoint. Once I entered the place, I was immediately jump scared by Sigmund. After that, I spawned in a car and started to drive it. My goal was to avoid these red buttons and get to the other side without oofing. I oofed on my first try, but I was determined to get back on track. On my second try, my car fell and I oofed. On my third try, it was so hard to control that I exploded. I slipped off on my fourth try. Fifth try, not so lucky. But on my 6th try, I was finally able to get to the end. However, the next stage is always harder. On this stage, you have to avoid this laser by hiding in these holes and avoid NPCs and cars. I was immediately oofed on my first try, so I decided to try again. After a few attempts, I was about to beat the stage when an NPC ruined it, and I oofed. After a long time, I was finally able to get back on track and beated the stage without an issue. Magically, the next 3 stages would be a break from the hard stages, and it would feel like heaven. The first stage was just an empty stage with nothing to fear. On the next stage, I had to jump on this moving platform to get to the other side. The next stage was also an easy one, even though I oofed a few times due to a little troll. And in the final stage of heaven could have possibly been bugged because the pineapple-looking thing wasn't moving. Then, the easy stages were over and the hard stages had come back. This next stage literally looked like hell. Maybe the easy stages were made to make me prepare for the worst. On my first try, I was easily oofed from a button. After that, I crashed into one of the cars, lost control, and fell down into the water. Somehow, on the 3rd try, I hit one of the buttons and exploded, but I was only flung back. On my 4th attempt, I bounced on one of the buttons and I was flung into the air. Out of the blue, I was finally able to beat it. For some reason, I had to drive in a car and avoid buttons again, but this time insanely harder. I also had to complete this quiz, which makes it 5x harder. And you guessed it, I oofed. After getting to the next place in the stage, more harder things would come. A CAPTCHA appeared on the screen, which makes it 10x harder to beat for me. Luckily, I solved the CAPTCHA but didn't pass the stage. After 20+ minutes, I was finally able to beat the stage. Then, I had to get across the broken bridge from the first stage. And then, I made it to the final stage. I started by getting a bow and trying to find a path that wasn't filled with bombs. But on my first try, I was blown up. There were falling fruits too to make it even harder. I was about to make it to the end when my boat suddenly lost control and went directly into a bomb. But after all of my hard work, this happened. I was finally able to make it to the end, and I was very happy. But when I was climbing to the end, a Terraria game loaded, and I had to prepare for a big boss fight. After a lot of loading, the map loaded, and I had to beat Plantera in a boss fight. Now, I have never played Terraria in my life, so this would be the most challenging thing ever. But I found out that it was too hard for me. So I'll have to end the video here. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.